steakhouse. You name it, they're all full every Friday and Saturday night. And we didn't do that. I was plumb out of high school and working in the oil field before I ever ate in a restaurant. We just didn't do those things. We didn't have the money to do it. And when Mom said a plate of food down there, you ate it or you done without. She didn't say, well, if you don't like that, I'll fix something else. But, I mean, there's going to be, and I agree with what somebody said earlier, you're going to have to be prepared to protect what's yours. And I've accumulated some stuff, but I talked to people, including my 38-year-old son was here yesterday, and I showed him some things that I had. I said, now, something happened to me. You need to get this stuff and get it down to your place. And he said, well, what do you got all that stuff for? I said, same thing I've been telling you for a long time, son. This thing is fixing to crash. And he said, I don't know where you're getting that. But, you know, and they don't pay attention. They're all sitting around watching TV. It's just like this damn Super Bowl. They was talking about literally parking places down there. It's cost $200 a spot, and those people that couldn't get into the stadium was paying $200 to stand outside and watch the big screen TVs.
Boy, and that's a real deal, isn't it?
Yeah, especially today. It's cold and snowing and blizzards and all that. And, you know, and they're probably putting this on credit cards, and it just blows my mind. I know that the Packers and Steelers are playing, and I could care less which one of them wins. And so that's not my thing. Now, if it was, I always like to watch the rodeos and things and the bull ridings and stuff like that, but that's the way I'm geared. But, no, I'm going to, like I say, I still got my harness and everything, and I'm literally going to, because, hell, this diesel just keeps, every time I go to town, it's another dime higher, and I've got a bunch of it accumulated in some barrels and stuff, and I'll get by for a while.
Yeah, but it's not going to last forever, is it, Jim?
No.
No,
and,
sure isn't.
I've got a lot of pasture here, and I just turn those old horses out and let them graze, and get ready to go to town, hook them up, and take down the road and get me some groceries if there's anything open. If not, I've got enough heirloom seeds here to plant 2 acres. So I can get by, you know. But there's not very. But the scary thing about it is there's going to be millions of people that can't get by, and they're going to go to try to take in what other people have.
That's right. Now, there's going to be a lot of people caught with their pants down, and when that happens, it's going to be a rude awakening out there for many people out there. And, Jim, thank you for the call. I got to move on. Let's
everybody go to Jim's house.
Yeah, let's go to Jim's house. Yeah, all right. We're all going down to Texas.
Let's go to Jim's house.
Let's go to Tom in Georgia. Tom, you're live on the air.
Hey, guys. Great show. One thing I wanted to say about living alone, when Fatherland Security comes to get you to put you in the quarantine camps, you're going to be on your own. And I would offer that you might have better protection in an organized neighborhood. I've never fought in military combat, but it seems like to me an organized neighborhood would be harder to take than an individual out by himself. But I wanted to make a comment about the banks. I am a consumer bankruptcy attorney here in Georgia, and something that I've noticed over the last year or so, really the last 2 years, I have clients that come to me who have gotten behind in their mortgage, and when things get tight, they call up the mortgage company and they say, hey, look, we need some help. Can you help us? And the mortgage company will say, no, we can't help you until you get behind. Well, in good faith, they get behind. And then they say, well, send us some information about income, and we'll do some kind of workout package. And that process lasts 2, 3, 4 months. All the time the house is getting further and further behind. And then, lo and behold, they get a foreclosure notice. And they call up and say, what's going on? And the bank will say, don't worry about it. It's just a formality. And then the ads are running in the paper, and they say, don't worry about that. That's just a formality. And hopefully before the foreclosure goes down, they come to see me. But a lot of times they don't. And they don't understand the attack that's on them. The problem is, and Chase is one of the worst of these, the banks got paid off in the TARP program and in the bailouts. And if you helped organize this, and if you were influential in lobbying Glass-Steagall all the way to turn these banks into gambling casinos, they call you brilliant and they make you chief of staff of the White House. And it's criminal. It's criminal.
I can't believe it. I mean, and it's good to hear somebody, a subject matter expert such as yourself, that can speak firsthand about the plight of people that are suffering due to the housing market, and also because of the unemployment. You can't tell me for a second that real unemployment is 9%. You know?
Well, if you've been on the unemployment lines for so long, you drop off the list.
Sure.
And then, lo and behold, the numbers go down. Well, gee, in unemployment, look at those bank profits. Aren't they up? My, the economy's turning around. And we found out under a one-time provision under the Frank Dodd bill that they loaned out trillions to different corporations, different companies, different banks, who turned around and invested it in on their own stocks. And lo and behold, the stock market goes up. My, look how the economy's recovering. But on the ground, it's a different story.
Tom, I have a question for you.
Sure.
With the mirrors and the electronic registration, they're destroying a lot of the documents, like the ones that I signed when I purchased my house. If I got into trouble or behind on my mortgage, why couldn't I just ask my lender, which is now Wells Fargo, just show me the wet ink document, show me the promissory note. If there's no promissory note, then I don't owe you anything. Is that a route for some people to be able to take just as well?
Well, what they've done is they've taken these deeds and they've packaged them, little bits here, little bits there, mortgage-backed securities, and they've sent them worldwide, and nobody knows who has the title to the property. So yeah, that's a thing that's starting to be explored, and I'll be honest with you, that's deliberate, and it's my opinion that they're going to use that to take property from all of us, because nobody's going to be able to have good title. But yeah, that is a defense, and that is starting to be used. I haven't used it because in my practice, you're either going to keep the house and keep the payments, or you're going to give up the house. There's no in between. But for fighting a foreclosure, I think that's a very valid defense.
All right, thank you.
Am I still on?
Yep,
Yes.
Tom, that was a very valid point. And Griff, I know you had something to add, didn't you?
Yes, but I got so engrossed in what Tom was saying, I forgot what my question was. Tom, you sound really good over the radio. You're clear and you make sense.
I appreciate that.
Tom, what do you see for the near future? How do you think it's going to play out in the next few months and years?
It's going to get worse before it gets worse.
Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel?
The return of Christ. And I know this is not a theological program, but I believe ultimately that's where it's going. And you've made the point that Obama was put in power to dismantle the United States. I feel the same way about Bush. And the more I study, the more I feel about most of the presidents, well, all of the presidents in my lifetime.
Yeah, me too.
But
me too, Tom.
The difference is they put it into full throttle. And today, and I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to make a racial comment, but Obama does have a black tone to his skin, and if you disagree with him, boy, it's easy to pull up the race card.
Oh, sure. I mean, there's always seems to be a way out. You know, they're slimy, no matter who they are or how they are. They're slimy dogs, if you will. And you're right, Tom. They really have ratcheted it up and put things into full gear. Now so much so that they lie to the American people, and they know it, and we can see it. We watch it on the television screens every day, and they do it without fear. So that tells you where they are right now. You know,
you know, it's almost like from my end looking at it, especially now that I've waked up, it's like a strong man in the pool who has a child and he's holding him under the water, and the people on the side of the pool are going, save him. The strong man's going, give me more power so I can help these children. And the people on the side of the pool good-heartedly say, well, yeah, we've got to help him because, my gosh, somebody's got to help that child. And you give that strong man more and more power, and meanwhile, he's holding the kid under the water. And people don't see it, and I don't understand how to explain it to people because if you get on Griff's point and start talking about, you know, what is money, they just it glazes them over. They can't see it.
Because to most people, Tom, and Griff, I'm sure you can speak to it too. As much as Griff is right, no matter how many times he says it, or no matter how much he tries to pound it home, as long as people can take that piece of paper and go acquire things with it, it's not going to make any difference to them. They're still going to go about doing what they're doing and not really care about the true scam that's going on and how people are being fleeced. And that's just one facet of it. There's many facets to the fact that everything that we know is really a mere illusion, and that reality is something totally different. And like I said, Griff, we could say it that what's a dollar? What's a dollar? What's a dollar? It doesn't matter because they don't care. It's like you're speaking to a brick wall. That's how I feel sometimes, don't you, Griff?
Yes, the courts don't care, do they, Tom?
I practice in bankruptcy court, which is not quite a Title III court system, and I find a lot of true sympathy for the people in my court system, but I see corruption everywhere I go. And y'all were talking about where did this start, when did it come about. It's been in the works for quite some time. If you've ever read de Tocqueville's Democracy in America, the first volume, he talks about what's going on to make America so strong. And in the 1830s, he observed that everywhere you go, people talk about the Bible and they talk about politics. They know who the constable is. They know who the clerk is. They know their roles.
I got 7 callers in queue.
They know their roles, and they wouldn't put up with people playing outside of their role. When I was growing up, the popular thing to say was, well, you don't talk about politics and religion. So we've stripped ourselves of the very things that make us strong.
Isn't that a shame? Isn't that a shame that people take that tack, because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get into a conversation with people. And sometimes it's hard to debate the issues. It takes a level of awareness. It takes a level of intelligence. It takes a level of let's just say plugging in. Wouldn't you say, Tom?
Well, where do you start? Because if you point to the chemtrails, people say, "Oh, well, that's poppycock. I don't want to hear that." Nobody wants to believe that they're doing that or putting carcinogens in the vaccines or anything like that. That's evil. No one would do that. This is America. Don't you know the government loves us?
Yeah. I beg to differ, Tom. But Tom, I appreciate you calling in tonight, and I thank you very much for the call. And folks, when we come,
thank you, Tom.
When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. So Texas, don't go away. Diane, don't go away. We'll get to your calls as soon as we come back on the other side. This is Freedomlink Radio on the Intel Hub News Network. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
You want things to go faster. It's the beginning of the end. Now everything's too slow for you.
Are you still paying your credit cards and so-called bank loans thinking that you owe the money? Do you feel like it's your moral obligation but can't see an end in sight? Well, what if I told you that in truth, you don't owe a single penny, and that the banks know this and hope you don't find out? Here's where we come in. Free2Prosper.com specializes in a profound debt repudiation method which challenges the validity of your so-called debts, morally frees you from the burdens, and protects your property. Our system is often superior to settlement, bankruptcy, or consolidation, which often leave you in a worse situation. If you feel the moral obligation to take care of yourself and your family, then I urge you to consider taking action right now. The economy will not wait. If you want to know more so you can prosper through the economic collapse, all while staying honorable and true to yourself, then call 877-417-8393. That's 877-417-8393. Or visit Free2Prosper.com right now.
Hey, it's me, Shepard, the host of the Intel Hub. Check out my live show every Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can check it out from my website, theintelhubradio.com.
Join me, Joe Joseph, John King, and A.C. Griffith, Thursdays and Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern for Freedomlink Radio on the Intel Hub News Network.